Hey there, Diocese of the Rio Grande. This is your weekly update for the week of Labor Day 2024. Sorry, it's been a while. I've missed y'all. I hope you're doing well. It's been a busy summer with General Convention, and then I had some vacation time, and then getting reorganized. Now we're back. Here's your weekly update as we start leaning into the fall, and we're getting at least a little bit of a break in the weather here in the Diocese of the Rio Grande, which is good because it's been one hot summer. In this weekly update, I want to give you the opportunity to join a mission trip south of the border called Boquillas and Beyond. I want to tell you about a mission trip for young people that took place in Taos at St. James in Taos earlier in August. I want to give you an update on wildfire recovery efforts in Ruidoso, New Mexico. And I know you're aware that for the past few months we've been working on this Diocesan 4-phase project. I want to remind you what that is all about and tell you where we are in the midst of it. And finally, I want to give thanks for the life and ministry of the Right Reverend Dave Bailey, the Bishop of Navajo Land, who passed away earlier and whose memorial service will be coming up next week. If you don't know about Rio Grande Borderland Ministries, I want you to know about it. Google Rio Grande Borderland Ministries. The Diocese of the Rio Grande, which involves far west Texas and the whole state of New Mexico, contains about 40% of the U.S.-Mexico border. And we are active all along that. We're one of the 4 United States dioceses that are along that border. And Rio Grande Borderland Ministries is our effort. So Google Rio Grande Borderland Ministries, and you will see across the top an invitation to Boquillas and Beyond, which is doing a mission trip to Boquillas. The general logistics you can find at riograndeborderlandministries.org. You arrive on October 13th, and on October 14th, we'll cross the border, and then we'll be laying about 900 square feet of tile and meeting and working with the young people in Boquillas. Boquillas and Beyond is a ministry that's been doing mission work south of the border through Rio Grande Borderland Ministries for quite some time now. They've installed solar panels for the school there, and in a variety of other places, helping the town and the village council there, ministering to young people there. And so the laying of the tile is a part of the next effort in Boquillas. So if you're looking for an opportunity to serve and you got your passport, because you're going to need your passport, we'd love for you to join us October 14th through 19th for Boquillas and Beyond. The link is below. Leanna Brund, you are the Diocesan Youth and Family Missioner, and we're grateful for all you're doing. And you want to tell us about a mission trip to Taos. Tell us about it.
All right. So we had 13 attendees, and we had youth from Albuquerque and from Espanola and from Taos. And we stayed at St. James Episcopal in Taos, old school, sleeping in sleeping bags on the parish hall floor. And then we worked with the deanery the La Sierra Encantada deanery, which is northeast, headed up by Reverend Jill Klein. And so with Reverend Jill Klein and Father Mike Olson and the parish of St. James, we got the kids a place to stay, a place to fellowship, and we got them fed. And we used this time to start building some networking. As kids will do, they came together and didn't know each other, so they were in their separate spaces until we started those wonderful activities and games that get people to break down those walls and start getting to know each other. By the end of the evening, people were friending each other on various social media platforms and finding out, the musicians in the room, the artists in the room, and so on. The next morning, we got up early, and Sydney Klein, one of our own, took us up to Taos Ski Valley and took a contingent up all the way to Williams Lake. So that was a beautiful start to Saturday.
Awesome. So that was a hike.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Right. We did a hike, and for those that weren't able, we were able to take them up on the ski lift so they could also see everything. So So that all we're able to accommodate.
Awesome. So games and fellowship, and then a hike, and then what else did you do?
All right. So then we had arranged with the local interfaith group to find out how they do mission. Taos is a smaller town. If you kind of take the Taos metro area, as it were, you're looking at around 10,000 people max for this area that come and work here, do their shopping here, and that sort of thing. And so there are over 200 nonprofits in Taos alone.
Wow.
And St. James participates in the Enchanted Circle Interfaith Group, and they have done a lot of work together to support each other's food pantries, helping the elderly get what they need. And so, one of the members of the interfaith group is our local Hindu ashram, and they invited us out to host. They have a lunch on Saturdays, so they let us have lunch with them and gave us a tour and talked about how we work together, and then allowed the kids to ask questions about. And there were some great discussions about how we can support each other as we follow our different faith walks. But there was a lot of, they understood that there was a lot of respect involved, and that in the end, a lot of our different faith journeys lead us to serve one another and help one another. So it really helps support the idea of mission and discerning what your personal mission is. And so they did talk about what it was to keep people fed during the time that COVID shut down in Taos. How did that play out? And how did we help one another? And so we talked about how the Presbyterians and the Methodists and everyone still work together for us to do this. And so that was, I thought that was very beneficial, and heard back from our youth later that that was the case, that this was really great to learn about this. We took a little break. Everybody got a little breather, went out to Taos Cow, got some ice cream. And then we went to a soft opening of Common Grounds. And for those of you not aware, Common Grounds is the brainchild of Sydney Klein and some other youth, supported by adults in Taos and at St. James, and is an outreach of St. James that is for either homeless or borderline homeless youth to be able to come together. It's a safe space for youth to come together, whether you are experiencing those things. And you can wash your clothes, you can take a shower, you can go play some musical instruments, get some tutoring. There's a meditation space. And that evening, we had our 13 kids, we had the Common Grounds kids, and then Dream Tree brought over some youth that are currently experiencing homelessness. And so that evening, we had 32 people together gathered for dinner. And again, we started out as strangers and ended up as friends by the end of the evening. I literally thought our youth were about to form a rock band in the other room. And so then we came back. One practice we share quite often is affirmations, and allowing a space for the youth to talk about what impacted them and what they're grateful for in this space and what we had done together. And so that concluded our second night together. And then the next morning, we worshiped with St. James and spent some time learning what St. James had to offer. And then we all went our separate ways.
Oh, it's wonderful. I love the both the emphasis on fun, but also the different ways that community is built. You know, focusing on needs of others, but also bringing young people together, not just from different Episcopal churches in the area, but also meeting with young people who may not have a faith, or just showing up at the event because it was going to be a fun event. So thank you so much for all you're doing. And this will not be the only one of these trips, right?
That's correct. We are going to, of course, have our usual events, but we are working on mission trips to West Texas and to our Borderlands ministry in El Paso. And you will be hearing more from us on how to sign up for those things. We always need chaperones. We always need folks willing to come in and get trained and come with us and help make these a safe space for us to be able to take our youth on these trips.
Yeah. And
And
there's going to be a Diocesan convention event too. Is that right?
yes, yes, we are definitely this year at Diocesan Convention. The youth will be helping with a fun event on Friday evening. So we'll be helping get the space ready for the things we'll do together at the conclusion of the meeting portion of Friday, and make that space fun. And then on Saturday, we will have a field trip out to the biopark. We'll be seeing the aquarium and the gardens, and we're going to have some folks helping us out with some games and things out there. And youth are invited to participate in that activity. So that'll be in Albuquerque during Diocesan Convention. So
That's
you guys
cool.
can take
So
care
you,
of the cannons and all those things like that, and we'll go and do that.
yep. So youth, young adults, look for more information coming out of Leanna's office going forward. Leanna, thank you so much for all you do. You are a blessing to us all. Thank you. I know you all have been hearing about the 4 phases that we're doing. And by the way, we could probably come up with a better name for the Diocesan 4-phase project. If you've got a better name for the Diocesan 4-phase project, why don't you let me know? That'd be really helpful. Maybe put some comments down below. The reason we're doing this 4-phase project is that across the diocese, as I visit the congregations, I am hearing about some concerns about the future finances of our congregations. And I know personally about the concerns that I have about the future financial resources that we have at the diocese. I want to be the most effective bishop I can be. I want to make sure that you have the most effective diocesan staff you can be. I and we exist to serve you in the congregations. And so this 4-phase project is really a chance to gather data from the congregations, that data that can be used to help me as your bishop and your diocesan staff kind of refocus our attention so that we can serve you better, more efficiently, and to be doing the kind of things that you need us to do now and in the days ahead, which may be different from the things that we've always done. You know, we've always done it that way, only works in the past. We need some ways that will help us work in the future, and that's why we're inviting you to participate in this 4-phase project. Phase 1 is an attempt for us to hear from you in the congregations what you love about the Episcopal Church in New Mexico and far west Texas. What is it about this church that makes you want to be a part of this church instead of the many other options that you might have? I think there are particular charisms that the Episcopal Church has. Our little Episcopal branch of the Jesus movement is precious in the sight of God, and it brings a certain charism to the community in terms of who we are. I've got a lot of ideas about why I'm an Episcopalian and why I love the Episcopal Church, but I want to hear about you and your congregation's input. We have heard so far from almost half of the congregations in the diocese, and we will be sharing that data with the diocese and with the clergy at Clergy Conference coming up in October. So if your congregation has not yet done phase 1, talk to your clergy person about it. And if you're a clergy person and your congregation hasn't quite gotten around to doing phase 1 yet, I encourage you to do it. The feedback we're getting around the diocese from those congregations that have done it is that it does a great job of raising energy and enthusiasm for your congregation, which is the point after all. We're trying to raise and encourage the thriving of the congregations in the Diocese of the Rio Grande. That's what phase 1 is all about. And we'll be talking about phase 2 going forward. Remember, the reason we're doing this is to gather data so your bishop and diocesan staff can be most effective in meeting your needs. And so we need your help with that. And we're asking for the collection of this data in order to strengthen the diocese and its congregations for the many decades ahead. My friends, you all will remember the wildfires that have ripped through Ruidoso, New Mexico, and the mountains surrounding that area, including the Mescalero Apache Nation. And I want to let you know that those recovery efforts continue even though the fires are out. And we know that that fire recovery effort will take not just the next few months, but in fact, years for the full recovery to still happen. Later this week, I'm going to be releasing a video about ongoing wildfire recovery efforts following the Calf Canyon fire around Las Vegas, New Mexico, and how our Episcopal Church is involved in that ongoing effort. Today, I want to ask you to continue to help support the Church of the Holy Mount in Ruidoso, New Mexico, and their ongoing wildfire recovery efforts. Just Google the Diocese of the Rio Grande, and when you see our website, there's a place to give, and then you just select Ruidoso Wildfire Recovery, and those funds will go directly to the people in and around Ruidoso to be administered by the Congregation of Holy Mount to help with the ongoing wildfire relief efforts. I also want to take this moment to give thanks for Episcopal Relief and Development and their chief agent working with us, Katie Mears. We plan for Katie to come and talk to us at Diocesan Convention, and we're grateful for all the help that is happening from Episcopal Relief and Development. Ruidoso, people at Holy Mount, we love you, we are with you, we are praying, and we're going to keep sending financial aid to help with that ongoing recovery effort.
Yeah, I think I'm liking it.
Man.
When do you want to retire?
Ooh, soon. In fact, before General Convention.
I first met the Right Reverend Dave Bailey when I was working with Bishop Michael Curry, and part of my job was to connect with and work with all the indigenous Episcopalians throughout the Episcopal Church, particularly those dioceses, Alaska, Navajo Land, North Dakota, and South Dakota, who are actively engaged in indigenous ministries and supported by the Episcopal Church through its General Convention budget. Bishop Dave is a former rodeo guy. He is a cowboy with a heart of gold, and Dave loves the people of Navajo Land and has given many years of his life dedicated to serving and nurturing and growing that ministry there. When I first met him, he had a vision that the next bishop of Navajo Land would be called from the indigenous Navajo people. And he wanted to make sure that there were a number of choices of Navajo people who had Masters of Divinity degrees, and that the next bishop would be a Dene person. And by the time he passed away earlier this summer, there are enough Navajo clergy to choose from to choose the next bishop in Navajo Land. Bishop Barry Beisner is the current provisional there. He kind of took over for Dave with the role of helping to nurture the diocese as they put together a process to choose the next permanent bishop of Navajo Land. And Navajo Land became a diocese of the Episcopal Church, not just an area mission as they were before, but a diocese. All of that had to do with Dave Bailey and his faithful leadership as the bishop of the Episcopal Church in Navajo Land for the time that he served them. So I miss Dave terribly. My prayers are with his family and the people of the Diocese of Navajo Land as we will be gathering later on this week to celebrate his life in Farmington, New Mexico. God bless you, Dave Bailey. I'm grateful for all you taught me about being a bishop, and I miss you, my friend. But I'll be there to help celebrate your life. And I'm grateful that you are now a part of the communion of saints and always there to help us out. God bless you. Well, my friends, that's your weekly update for this Labor Day weekend of 2024. This Labor Day weekend, I hope you take some time to rest from your labors and get some Sabbath. But I also hope you'll take some time to think about, pray for, and give thanks for all the many people whose labor makes your quality of life so much better than it would be otherwise. I'm talking about the people who do the roofing, the people who pave our streets and lay the concrete. I'm talking about the people who serve our communities as teachers, as nurses, as health technicians, as physicians. I'm talking about the people who are our police officers and our firefighters, the people who are our social workers, the people who are our clinical therapists, the people who check us out in the grocery line, who wait on tables and take care of us when we're going through the drive-thru. I'm talking about the people who raise the food that is on your plate, those who help prepare it, and those who do the dishes. It takes all of us and our labor in order to raise the quality of life for all of us. This Labor Day weekend, give thanks for those who labor. Know that your labor is blessed by God and is sacred and hallowed. Let's give thanks for one another, my friends. God bless you, and we'll see you next time on the Weekly Update.